So this is Things Fall Apart by Chinua Achebe. Chinua Achebe. And I believe that might be him on the back of the book. I'm not too sure. But this book it takes place in Africa, Nigeria. And I have the pronunciations on my phone, but it takes place in Umofia, which is their village. This book, like, it's based off of Igbo culture, so there's like, and our main character is Konkwo. So I don't actually know his age. I'm gonna guess he might be like late 30s, early 40s, possibly, or like mid 50s, possibly. And so he was a wrestler. He was apparently really good. I don't know. And so basically, someone ends up killing someone from their village. So they're like, okay, well, if they kill someone from our village, we're gonna take someone from their village. So I don't remember the name of their village, but I know they took this kid who was, I believe, maybe like a teenager, so he might have been like 13 or 12. And his name was Ike Mifuna. And so he was like, okay, guys, you're gonna stay with him. And so he got to stay with Okonkwo, and he was helping with the like crops and stuff. I believe they had a lot of crops. And so Okonkwo had, I think he had a couple of kids because he had 3 wives. I don't have the names of the wives, but I have the names of the kids who names popped up more and were more relevant to the story. It's Ezima and Nwoge, which is the son, and then Izima is the daughter, I believe. And so basically they were all, I wouldn't say hanging out. They sometimes hung out together, like played together and stuff. And they like did like their chores and stuff together until they I believe their village, I don't know who said it. It might have been in Aguda, which is like a masquerader who impersonates one of their ancestral spirits in the village. That's the description. And so I'm pretty sure they were like, alright guys, it's time to kill the kid, because they were planning on killing him, but they didn't know when. Which Ike Mifuna stayed there for about 3 years, which that's kind of cool. They're like, you're gonna stay here for 3 years, and then we're gonna kill you. But he didn't know that. And so they went on this walk where he was supposed to walk home, and he was thinking about his sister and his parents, and little did he know he was gonna die. And so they killed him, and Okonkwo had to do it. And so he was like, I didn't want to do that. But, and he was attached to him more than his own children per se. But basically, he killed him. And everyone was like, oh, he died. And so later on in the book, I forgot what happened exactly, but I think there was like a party, and Okonkwo ends up killing someone, and so they're like, oh, you gotta go. So he ends up having to leave for 7 years. So he went to his brother or cousins, and so they all like, they allowed him to have land so he could build an obi, which is like a house and stuff, and so like still grow crops. And then I believe, sorry, let me just get the pronunciation. I believe his friend Obirika, came, and that was his friend. Like, he came up multiple times during the book. This is like a 100-page book. He came, and he was like, basically, these random people came and invaded this other village over from us, his village, and they killed him and his horse. They're like, this like white man, and they're like, oh, and they're like, an albino? And they're like, no, this guy's different. And so they figure out that basically a couple years like go by, and he then comes to their village, and they figure out like, oh, this is basically an evangelist like Christianity. I don't know if it's Catholic. And so they come and they're basically like, you guys, you should convert to Christianity. And they're like, well, we kind of already have a god whose name was Chukwu. And basically he was like the major. So I'm gonna put it in this perspective, kind of like there was like major gods and minor gods, like mythology, like they have major gods, minor gods, a whole bunch of mythology, like Egyptian mythology and Greek mythology and stuff. And so one of their minor gods was Annie, I believe. Annie. And so she was the earth goddess who owned like all the land. So if that was land, she owns it. You don't own it. You own it, but you don't own it. And so they were like, I don't really want to do that. And so everyone was really mad. But then Okonkwo's son, Inoue, was basically like, you know what? It kind of looks interesting. I'm going to give it a try. So he walked, and they were building a church at that time. Like, they had translators who spoke Igbo, and so they were the translators for the people who came to the town. I believe one of them's name was like Governor James, I believe. And so James starts to build a church, and so his son, Okonkwo's son, was, as I said before, he wanted to like try out the church, and so he goes to try it out, and he's like, let me come back again, you know, let me just see if it's good, like let me just try it again. And so he tries it again. He's like, wait, let me try. I kind of like this. Let me try one more time. So he goes and tries one more time. And he's like, I really like this. But his dad, on the other hand, is like, no, I don't like this church. I hate it, actually. It, like, this is my hatred. Like, I hate it. He hates it with his whole life. And so, basically, he ends up trying to burn down the church, which I think that is kind of a big jump. There was, like, minor events that happened. I know he did try to burn down the church, I believe. He tried to burn it down. They're like, no, you can't burn down a place of religion, so a place of worship. So they're like, we're gonna have to, like, take you. I'm gonna call it court. I don't know the exact term, but they took him to court. And so the preacher guys were like, you know what, it's okay, we forgive him. And I forgot to mention, because I was like my video, James, he got replaced with this guy named Mr. Brown. And so he was like, there was like a little in between where James, I forgot what happened to him, but something happened to him, and he got replaced with Mr. Brown. He was like, we should build a school, and we should get everyone down in education, and we're gonna force you guys to send your kids to school, because if you want to run this country, you kids, they need to be smart. They got another times tables and stuff. And so that happened, and so he's like, I'm gonna burn it down. But obviously, like I said, that didn't happen. And Mr. Brown, I believe, was said, actually, I think we'll just have you, like, we'll let you go. It's okay. Just pay the fine. You'll be good to go. No prison time for you. And from my understanding, they went into do more stuff, but Okonkwo at the end of the book ends up committing suicide. I guess maybe he felt like he wasn't, like, good enough or something, but he ends up committing suicide. It's kind of like the why he did it, I feel like, is like something you need to look for morally. Like, if you reread it, like, that's something you have to keep an eye out for. But maybe because he didn't feel enough. And they end the book with him committing suicide, and his friend Obirika finds him, and they're like, we can't touch him because it's against our beliefs because we knew him, because I think suicide just wasn't what they liked. And yeah, that's about it. Izima.
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 Okay. What other critique do you have about the book? You can't call the central character, right?
I didn't like his character, but that was
What didn't
purposely.
you like about him?
I didn't like it because I think the author did this on purpose because it's in the time and that's how everybody acted. I personally just didn't like his character. He just was bossy, but like he was just like expecting things. Also, he kept wishing his daughter was a boy, which I thought was kind of weird. Because in this time, you know, like this is around the time like girls like they're mostly for like in this time like cooking and stuff. So like it was kind of I did kind of feel just a little bad for the daughter because it's like imagine someone just over wishing you were a boy and you can't do that because like you were born that way, you couldn't help it. So like I did feel a little bad for her, but like that's just like how it was back then. So like you have to think of it with that perspective. But I mean that was a weird thing his character did. Also, I don't even know if he was good at wrestling. Apparently, I think he also killed cats. I think, or something, or maybe that might have been a metaphor. Something about killing cows.
It's
Like
a metaphor,
I
yeah.
think he might have killed cats.
He fights like a cat. You know, cats, if you throw it up, the back never touches the ground. And in Oshunti society, there's somebody who's brave in fighting, they say his back never touches the ground
How
like
did
a cat.
like I'm gonna just use the word that everybody uses, which would be like polygamy. So like there's like some polygamy, and I mean I wouldn't say like abuse, quote unquote, because he did kind of beat up his wife. So like that technically is counted as abuse or harassment. But considering the place this book took place, that was like normal, but that's not something that's good. I don't want to like, you know, make that behavior seem like it's good because it's not. But like, that's it. There definitely was conflict.
Okay, what are they?
They definitely didn't like each other because they did the I'm just gonna say evangelists because I think they were evangelists. They might have been Catholic. I don't actually know. They did try to kind of like force that on them, which the best way if you wanted someone to follow your religion, what you could have done is like you could have simply just calmly talked to them about it, like tell them about it, like talk to them about it, instead of being like, you should do it because you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong, and you're wrong. You're all wrong. The gods you worship are fake. Like that's not the best way to go about it. You can be like, well, personally, I believe, like, use my beliefs instead. So that way, because it wouldn't come off as harsh. But then again, this was like a long time ago. Before I was born, so.
Before I was born too.
Yeah.
And also, Okonkwo committing suicide also indicates the Igbo society's look at suicide is not something encouraged.
Yeah.
Life is sacred, so somebody committing suicide is something called abomination in ancient Igbo society.
Which I think that's not really a good thing because now mostly, like, people really, if someone commits suicide, it's like something that sucks because, like, that's life, but like, that's not something you want because, like, someone like was clearly struggling and either you didn't see the signs of it or like no one like did anything to try and help. Like they didn't like be like, are you okay? Just like every now and then. And like sometimes if you think about it, like like you being nice to someone like on the street, like just like waving to someone outside, you might not even know it. It could be the difference between someone dying and not dying, which is weird that they think of that as an abomination because that's just someone like that's just mental health. You can't really do anything about that.
Okay.